Hi everyone, David here on November 12th, 2021. This is an issue I've actually tried to go into before. Um, it's something that I feel I didn't quite have it down pat yet, and I wanted to talk about the Eightfold Path that was left out. There is an Eightfold Path that was left out, but it's not wisdom of the mind. It's not wisdom of the spirit, it's wisdom of the flesh, wisdom of the heart, wisdom of more than one person, and wisdom of the dense, wisdom of, it's even anti wisdom, it's the love, it's the reception, the connection, the positive, the energy, the cohesion between people. So we talk about the Eightfold Path. You have right speech. You have in a marriage the speech left out, the space between our little lies. You know what I mean? This is a great song, by the way. Dave Matthews Band. It's called The Space Between. And it's basically just to state that the silences, there are pregnant silences in a marriage. And that was a good clue that this was going to be about love. Uh, the Eightfold left-hand side path. And the opposite of a Zen state of right mindfulness would be the mindfulness left out, would be anti-Zen type stuff, would be like, oh, I had an experience like that today too, open-heartedness. You can be a closed-minded person, but you could have the promise of what your potential just might not be reached under the maybe your life isn't catalyzed in that way yet. Maybe you haven't found that catalyst that's going to bring you into it's interesting to me because it's heartfulness. It's not the left heartfulness, it's the right, it's the correct heartfulness. So you could, we see a person suffering and struggling in life, and we know that they're capable of more. I've witnessed people that are downtrodden, otherwise witnessed as misfits, otherwise witnessed as even criminals, and yet there is a certain celebration in the anti-hero, isn't there? I mean, you have in Chronicles of Riddick or, Pitch Black, those movies, you've got Vin Diesel playing a character, you've got Bad Santa, you've got, I think this is almost interesting in a funny way because I keep using fictions for reference points, and that's almost scary because it sounds almost like fiction is the only source of this, but it's fact, and you know it is, and it's not because your mind knows it at first. It's because you have a hunch, you have a gut feeling. A gut feeling is that what it's the correct uh it's one of those eightfold path things. I'm so sorry I don't have them out in front of me that I can state all of them. Let me check for a second. Give me a sec. Here's one where I have a little bit, it's a little bit tricky. You have right livelihood. uh it's almost like, that whole thing, live well. But there's also an expression from old times, from I think Julius Caesar's times. Uh, it's not whether you live well or you live long, but that you die well. And I mean, this basically was saying leave the death behind. Like there's an immortal livelihood, the spirit, and in a time there's so much more to be revealed on that one. So I apologize. Leaving action instead of right action, the actionlessness left. In other words, arriving to a catalytic conclusion. In other words, people helping you. Peripheral anti-Zen, ability to remove the stronghold, ability to remove a faith, a belief is to forgive and forget. The spirit of nurturing, that was a trip. Apparently the left side is of a female, but that makes sense with respect to nurturing. Give me a sec. It's kind of a trip because once you've followed the eightfold path, this is the thing I hadn't touched on. Apparently, one solves the eightfold path right side first, and then they get onto the left side path, and they're able to help others. And this is the area known as moksha, nirvana. So the path to wisdom, true wisdom, immortal wisdom, absolute, happily ever after wisdom, is to get the eightfold path with all the rights first. And then we see what mindfulness we have left, what views we have left, what resolve we have left, what speech was left out, or what speech we have left, what conduct we have left. What do you have left after you've done right speech or right conduct? The livelihood left, the efforts left. What effort is required? When you have a perfect wisdom manifested, I don't know why I know this. It's obviously been gifted to me. So I do know. I'm sorry for actually saying it incorrectly, as if I didn't know. I do know. I have been nurtured. I have been guided. I have been taught something different than wisdom, understanding, and loving kindness. I've been taught uh, kindness, wisdom, and loving understanding, a compassion and appreciation, something different. And it's basically been like the logic of the heart. And wait a minute, that sounds familiar, but I've been using the terminology was different. The wisdom of the heart, the logic of it. For some reason, it clicked differently with me today. And I don't know, I'm a little bit ashamed of the fact that I arrived at the same conclusion I already arrived at. Not because it's incorrect, but because I already knew that was there. The logic of the heart, the wisdom of the heart. The realm of nirvana. Yeah. I think that's pretty much all I got to say, other than to say, ask yourself what drives you. It should be a real quick answer that comes back when you're really on point. I'll give you a hint. Love! Alright, everybody. Love and peace. Cheers.